So hi guys, welcome to 12 Minutes to CLAT. I have Ishan Gandhi with me today. So we're going to be sharing Ishan's story, which is something that would resonate with a lot of you. So Ishan got somewhere around 6,000 rank while he prepared and when he prepared really hard for CLAT exam. Like most of the CLAT aspirants who do not do well, he was also quite heartbroken. But Ishan actually transformed that energy into up 99 plus percentile in MHCET exam and is now studying in first year at GLC Mumbai. Thank you so much, Ishan, for your time. And we have certain very straightforward questions that students would have from you, somebody who has done it, been there in the situation where a lot of students are right now. My first very straightforward question is when CLAT did not work out despite you having a decent sort of a preparation, what was going through your mind at that point? जब आपको लगा कि यार ये 5,000 रैंक तो मतलब it's something कि मैं क्या ही करूंगा इसके साथ. Then what happened next?
So especially because I was getting extremely good in mocks, it was a bigger heartbreak because I knew that I should have gotten good marks and then I didn't, and so that was it wasn't even like so what I couldn't make sense of it because originally with a naive vision of just out of high school, I had a naive vision of say ki the top 100 most hardworking aspirants will have top 100 marks or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I worked hard and then I didn't get. So I couldn't make sense of it. And I think one of the biggest, the question being, what was my mindset and how did I sort of shift my focus to MHCT and start anew would be ki basically, first of all, I read a lot because I had to distract myself somehow because it was really heartbreaking and it was
Right.
really like it was one of the first big failures of like most kids. It would be
Correct.
the first big failure, first big setback because right out of high school, when your entire life teachers have been saying, "Why do you argue so much? You should be a lawyer. That you only score good in history and English." You sort of have that little bit of arrogance कि मेरा नहीं होगा तो किसका होगा. But then CLAT happens, competitive exams for the first time happen, and it sort of sets you back a little bit. It gives you this reality, this real whole, this, and it pulls you into sort of what the real situation is, what the real competition is.
Yeah. So it is heartbreaking. You're always kind of hurting when these things happen. But जो एक वो transition होता है ना कि चलो ठीक है जो हुआ सो हुआ. Let me prepare for the next target, which is let's say in your case was MHCET. So how did you transform that? Because as an aspirant, if I have not done well in CLAT, मुझे ऐसा लगेगा कि शायद मैं एग्जाम्स के लायक ही नहीं हूँ. There is so much competition and I am probably falling far behind the competition. So how do I make myself ready for the next step?
So the thing that helped me, it's obviously very personal with everyone else. The thing that helped me and the thing that I realized was I was looking at these exams completely wrong. I was looking at these exams with the mindset of saying ki I'll go to an NLU and I will become an NLU. Then I'll have the abilities of an NLU student. That I'll get to NLS and then I'll have the confidence of a kid who is in NLS. But rather what the reality is that you have to have the confidence of an NLS kid, you have to have the competence of an NLS kid, and then you'll get into NLS.
Correct.
Just like that, I understood while my CET prep that it isn't the GLC, NLS, all these GLC, NALSAR, all these colleges are not the promised land, are not the like often it is sold to us by
बिल्कुल 100%.
It's shown as this magical place where you'll go, all your problems will disappear, but it's not quite like that. And I think I realized this when we talked about this also. NLU, the 3 suicides happened back-to-back months in NLU Delhi, and one of these students who unfortunately passed away wrote this essay, which I recommend everyone to read. It's called the Musings of a mediocre neurodivergent kid at an NLU. And then at first we all try to make sense of it. अरे उनको समझा, उनको ये नहीं हुआ होगा, उन्होंने मेहनत नहीं की होगी, वो ये होंगे वो. You have all these like bad selfish thoughts, and then you read this essay and you realize I'll never be able to write like this. True. It's so well written, it's so well communicated, and then you realize just how brilliant this soul was and this person was, and even then they struggle. So you start thinking what is it that is causing this, and somehow I found that it is the same thing that is causing me also to get into this like pressure zone, even when I know that I have the domain knowledge, I have the preparation. it was the same reason that was causing me to not perform in the exams also. That was, having all this pressure, not understanding that this is just one day and you have to just be in that relaxed mental spot. So this was understanding the problem, transforming into this person who can take it, who can take it relaxed, who can, as a person who doubts himself a little bit, is a skeptic a little bit when it comes to myself, and I'm you doubt, and
Yeah,
that's one of the
definitely.
things. That's one of the things that is sort of what brought me to law also, because doubt is entertained in this business, in this profession. So obviously this doubt can be a superpower, but at the same time it can also be an anchor that keeps you down. And how to maneuver yourself with that, and that aspect of it, I think I learned while reading things. While so this thing I did after CLAT was that I'm not going to now read newspapers every day, because I'm finding them dull and boring. Rather, I'm going to start reading classical literature. I'm going to start reading different kinds of stuff. I'm going to expose myself to as much literature as possible, because I saw that CLAT mein every year there is this one Orwell passage, George
Yeah.
yeah, and then there is this one fiction passage. Then there's one economics ka passage or something like that. So this year also I think there was one. So I thought the CLAT is while however it is conducted, originally the way it was designed was very smart. It was to see the kids who have good comprehension. It's to see the kids who have basic maths mein literacy, and then to see kids who are well aware about the world.
Correct.
So these are the three things you don't become once you go to NLS. You become that person, and then you get to NLS.
Correct, and then build upon it, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think something like that you also would be experiencing at GLC as well, right?
Yes.
एक और बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन स्टूडेंट्स का जनरली होता है कि let's say I didn't do CLAT very properly, and now I am aiming a college like let's say GLC Mumbai or let's say ILS Pune. So at what level should I consider it? Let's say for example, मुझे अगर एक X कॉलेज मिल रहा है, X NLU मिल रहा है with whatever rank I have, है ना? तो कौन सा वो एक्स एनएलयू है जिसके ऊपर मुझे रखना चाहिए कि यार मैं आई विल टेक जीएलसी मुंबई ओवर दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉलेज?
So, according to my understanding and the conversations I've had with my peers and peers at MNLU Mumbai and other national law schools, I've found that quite a lot of people, they prefer GLC over, say, there's one kid who has preferred GLC over Bhopal also.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the reasoning behind it is also interesting. I know one kid who chose not to go to NLU Delhi and come to GLC. I think it is a very personal choice to make. You have to know what your ambitions. You don't have to, but if you know what your ambitions are, if you think कि नहीं मुझे judiciary ही करना है, which is something obviously I personally don't find comfortable just saying out loud in the first year itself. I want to experience. I want to see more.
Right.
But there are kids who are very they have made their minds up. They know what they want to do, and so this one kid my friend who wanted to use judiciary, chose GLC over NLU Delhi because he believed that it will give him more exposure. Second, it will give him more time to prepare because GLC that way is very flexible in their timing, and third, it will also help him because he knew that there are a lot of judges who came from GLC, and there's that alumni, and even in the judges within there is a lot of
definitely. So GLC का एक तो ये बहुत बड़ा advantage है कि because you get more time as compared to other law schools where the classes में you don't have to be very very regular again. GLC का मैंने एक और ही बहुत बड़ा एडवांटेज देखा है बिकॉज ऑफ इट लोकेशन विच इज लाइक एकदम चर्च गेट पे जब वो है तो इट्स वेरी क्लोज टू द हाई कोर्ट, वेरी क्लोज टू सो मेनी लॉ फर्म्स, सो मेनी टॉप टियर लॉ फर्म्स आल्सो. सो हाउ आर पीपल, बिकॉज जीएलसी और आईएलएस में व्हेन पीपल हैव दैट डिबेट, मतलब मुझे पर्सनली ऐसा लगता है कि जीएलसी विंस इट लाइक वेरी क्लियरली बिकॉज इट हैज दैट ऑरा कि भाई मेरे पास एक तो मैं 100 साल पुराना कॉलेज हूँ, उससे भी ज्यादा पुराना कॉलेज हूँ, उसके बाद में आई हैव द लोकेशन दैट आई हैव एंड लाइक एवरीथिंग जो कि लॉ का पूरा इकोसिस्टम है वो मेरे आसपास ही बना हुआ है. सो हाउ डू पीपल एट जीएलसी लेवरेज दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ एडवांटेज ड्यूरिंग देयर लॉ स्कूल जर्नी?
So before answering that, I'll quickly just clarify that I personally chose GLC over MNLU Mumbai, and all the colleges above that, I would give preference to them over GLC if I'm like a fresher.
Right.
And secondly, answering your question, GLC has its name, has its brand, but it also has its share of. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's very personal. What do you think would be better suited for you as a learner? If you're a person who needs attention, who needs instruction, who is a very good soldier, but not perhaps a very good, general who can't strategize and sort of look, see a path or at least a rough path for their future.
Right.
Then I would say college like ILS or academics is more stronger, attendance is much more higher.
Yeah.
Then that would be well suited. For a kid like me who doesn't know exactly what to do, I want to see everything, know everything, meet everyone, and then go around places, meet people on stations, and then talk to them, and
Yeah.
then use that in my law classrooms. I person like me, I prefer GLC because first of all, as a first generation lawyer, it gives me that little bit of network that I so badly need
Correct.
as a first generation lawyer who doesn't know things that perhaps a person whose
True.
family has lawyers would know. And like you said, the location, High Court is very near to us. I mean, there in the first year, even before anyone of us had internships, we would go there just to eat in their canteen because it was cheap. It's that close to us.
Yeah.
And so GLC wins over that. Only thing ILS has over GLC, I believe, is their campus and their accommodation. Campus also, I believe, yes, ILS has a very good campus, but GLC's campus, it doesn't have a campus, but it has a city. It has entire South Bombay, and because of local, you can just think, I have 2 hours today. Let me go to Bandra. I can do that without.
I also had a student in the past. So I was just saying, I also had a student in the past, and she is also, I think, in third. I think she's in fourth year at GLC right now. So one of the things she said to me when she also couldn't do well in CLAT but cleared MHCET with a top rank, she said कि सर एक चीज मुझे यहाँ पर आकर ये भी अच्छी लगी that the fees is very minimal. So if I had gone to, let's say, even NLS for that matter, NLS is very expensive, or any other law school, any top 5 of the law schools, the fees would be at least you could say about 15 to 20 lakh rupees for 5 years. यहाँ पर वो बहुत कम है. Yes, there is that accommodation cost that comes with it because वो थोड़ा South Bombay is slightly expensive that way, but it's still way lesser as compared to what you expect in a top NLU. So people who believe कि ठीक है NLU चले जाएंगे बाद में loan लेकर something like that, GLC seems like a better option for that lower middle class and middle class category at least.
Yes. Was this Akshara?
Correct. Yeah.
So the thing about GLC, again, it gives you flexibility. All your fees are just your accommodation. So you can choose what your accommodation is.
Yeah.
If you want to compromise on it, and if you want something within like a very comfortably in your budget, you can do that. You can live a little further away. It takes 25 minutes more to come to college, which is doable because of its timings and this thing. So that can be so GLC gives you a free rein. The main difference I believe between a GLC student ka day and an NLS student or an NLU student ka day is, an NLU student ka day mein everything is there. It is
the day starts after 3 o'clock because उससे पहले तो class ही जाना था. I have experienced it.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have to wake up in the morning and you have your day set out for you. And it is hectic. It is academically pressured. There is high pressure. In GLC, you wake up and you first think, आज मैं क्या miss करूँ? Because there is either I can go to committee, either I can do a class, but that's the best thing about GLC. Either one of them are okay with your decision. So to a point, obviously, to an extent, you can't just not go to a class. But to an extent, everyone is flexible and everyone knows the caveats and the upsides of GLC, and they sort of interact with you, and you learn to sort of have a problem solving mindset that okay, now the committee, my committee told me to go to KS college or go to some college in Bandra, deliver these posters, sell them, get them to our competition, and at the same time there is a class at 2:30. She's going to take our internals, so I have to do both of them in one day, and I have to do it all before 8, and then I have a meeting at 9:30. So all of this keeps how long will it take for me to go local? If I board the wrong train, whom do I talk to? So all these things keep on going in your mind, and that sort of that hardens you, and that sort of gives you that confidence. Confidence that I don't think a lot of kids have, because we interact with the real world in a way that I don't think any other college does.
GLC में I think ये भी एक बड़ा advantage था when I was interning while I was in NLU Jodhpur. तो we used to get particular breaks for internships. Like every semester there'll be a
Right.
1.5 2 महीने का break. But about 8 to 9 months we were just in college, and obviously even if people are studying in NLU Delhi or even MHCET Mumbai, they can't intern round the year because they have their college, they have their bar council का 75% attendance criteria very strictly monitored and whatnot. GLC में I used to find interns in certain law firms कि हम 6 महीने से intern कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. And we're like, how is that possible? हमको तो एक ही महीना मिलता है intern करने के लिए. They said कि नहीं, हमारा तो कोई problem नहीं है. We don't have classes इतना regularly, so we can very well intern. And वो इतना ज्यादा मतलब परफेक्ट हो जाते थे while they were interning that we used to feel कि भाई इसको कितना आता है, मतलब ये 6 महीने से इंटर्न कर रहा है. वो that person was at par with an associate जो 1 साल से काम कर रहा है, because it's again at the end of the day वो work तो वैसा ही है जो आप ultimately सीख जाते हो. So that also, like वो placement वाला जो aspect है which a lot of students while they prepare for MHCET have a problem, I think that is also solved by GLC quite properly with the kind of structure that it has created for itself, right?
So again, with many things as it comes to GLC, it is a little layered. So GLC versus an NLU, I believe NLUs have a safety net, but they also have a ceiling when it comes to internships. Not placements, I won't go there, but I won't go that far. But at least as internship as real work experience. GLC has no safety net. You can fall as much as you can. You can be unemployed after 5 years. But it also does not have a ceiling. It lets you fly as much as you want. But that's the thing about GLC. When it comes to placements, obviously not as many kids in GLC get placed as much as Nalsar, NLS, NLU Jodhpur. But that again has, I think, 2-3 things attached to it. So I would advise an aspirant to not just go on Google, look at the placements and say, "Arey, ye log to 12 lakh hi milta hai inko on an average," and then say look at NLU Jodhpur ka, "Arey, inka to 16-17 lakh hai." But these are the averages. You have to understand that there are kids in GLG who then think ki, I want to be an article clerk, I want to be a solicitor, I want to practice judiciary, I want to do UPSC. I'm not saying that there are no kids who do that, but I think there is a higher percentage of people in GLC who do that. And the thing with GLC is, nobody forces you to go and intern. Nobody forces you to go and upskill yourself. Nobody forces you to participate in any tournament. So you have to take it upon yourself, and you have to make the use of your name. That is GLC.
True.
That is one thing.
And it also gathers a lot of respect wherever you tell people, particularly in Mumbai or anywhere in Maharashtra. So GLC के नाम से I think people are ready to take you for internships also sometimes, and then generally also मतलब एक वो sense of respect आता है कि अच्छा, this person has cracked something, that is why he or she is studying in this particular law school.
There was a friend of mine I was talking to, and she said ki I was not getting the contact of this one lawyer, and I kept talking to their assistant, and then I said, "I'm from GLC, could you please help me?" And he said, "Oh, GLC, wait, even sir is from GLC." And then they talked and they had fun. I had so much fun when I was your age, and all that started, and she got an internship. So these things happen that so GLC is very useful that way, but you have to also understand that she had to reach out, that she had to, while the placement committee of GLC is phenomenal, it's very good, they're very hardworking, it is also completely almost student run. So you have to understand that there are a lot of things to GLC, and you have to maneuver it, you have to sort of go through that, you have to understand it at the deeper level, and you have to work. Correct. And that is the only.
I think that's there everywhere. मतलब nowhere it's served clearly on the platter कि मतलब आप ले लो बस आके आप जाओ, please जाओ, कहीं नहीं होता. Everybody has to work hard obviously for it.
I'm sure.
हाँ, it's just that कि after a point it gets easier कि आपको थोड़ा CV build हो गया है, and then you have some academics also to show for it कि चलो ठीक है, I'm top 20 in my batch, top 10 in my batch, then it works in your favor obviously. So
in academics, I would say if you're a fresher, there is a myth going around. Even I had this: कि GLC में academics don't really matter. That couldn't be more untrue. Especially if you want to do corporate law, you have to be in like the top 10 percentile. True. You have to be, because last year I was talking to a senior. He said that 22 people got placed in the top 5 firms. That is 10% of the batch. So you have to be in the top 10%. Correct. Anyway. So academics takes you have to be very attentive, and you have to be good in academics any which ways. So people who think like maybe I'll be able to have only fun. That will not be true, obviously.
Geeto, I think this is true for any NLU also. You go to the topmost NLU, if you want to take the top tier job, you have to be good academically for sure. And मतलब 22 jobs that you're saying वो top 5 firms में हम बात कर रहे हैं. If you talk
Right.
generally, the number goes beyond 50 or maybe close to 100
Yes.
also at times. So that is the thing. But जो obviously जो topper बच्चे हैं, उनको बड़ी firms would consider them उससे
Exactly.
पहले, right?
Yeah. So
तो
that's what I was saying. Sorry.
yeah, sure, please.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying, that the toppers get differentiated quite early. I think in all law schools, I believe.
Yeah.
In GLC, I've seen this more firsthand by experience with people like my seniors telling me. So in the first 2 years, GLC has pre-law subjects. So there is no law as such that has been introduced to you till your third year, and that becomes a little tricky because you have to intern before the third year, because
Yeah.
as GLC, I mean, otherwise what's the use? But then, so you have to first of all learn law on your own to an extent, do moot courts, do all these ADRs and all these, write a lot of legal essays or something to sort of build your knowledge in the first 2 years. Also, in the first 2 years, it is easier to score because there are only 3 subjects per semester. So that is, which I don't think any other law school gives you that less subjects and that
we had 6.
leeway. So in a year, only 6 subjects are there. So you have to make sure that you are topping them. You're doing very well at them, because afterwards, when you're interning, your academics, you're a junior core or something in a committee. There a lot of things will pile up, and your academics somewhere will thoda sa be affected.
Correct.
So you have to ensure that you have a strong foundation to fall on. This is what I've been advised, and I would like advise any new.
Definitely. So I think we've spoken a lot about GLC as a law school. Let's come back to the MHCET part. So what is required, let's say in about 4 months time, or let's say 5 months time, whatever the student has at this point, to come out of that CLAT trauma, start preparing, and what are certain things that they should keep in mind?
So like I said, I read a lot of books, so that kept my English covered. Also, it exposed me to a little more open mindset. This is not the world. There's so much. That's the best thing about reading. You get to know a little more out of the scope of your life and your bubble. So there's this one quote that particularly helped me. It was in some Oscar Wilde book. I can't remember. I'm sorry. It said that when the gods wish to punish you, they begin by answering your prayers. So that sort of it. You have to sit with it for a second and understand that if I had gotten that first time, I had forgotten my watch in my first CLAT exam. I'd forgotten my watch. So my first 3 sections I got almost full, and then maths and logic, I got logic mein half and maths mein nothing. Okay. And so I got like a 6,000 ka rank. If I had not forgotten my watch, maybe maths mein I would have gotten 5 or out of 10, and then in logic I would have gotten probably like okay, great, and I would have ended up at NLU, Raipur or something. And I couldn't have gone through that process of discovering, understanding, sort of being okay with yourself, being okay, not hating yourself when things are not going right, because at the end of the day, it is you who has to deal with everything. So you have to be comfortable with yourself, your thoughts, even your failures, and then understand because like I talked about that letter of that student who passed away in NLU Delhi. She writes about this quite a bit, that how difficult it is to reckon. I think in all colleges you have a reckoning in the first year.
True.
This is not exactly like I thought it would be. I'm not as happy, or things are not as happy ending sort of thing. It's not the happy ending, it's the beginning.
Correct.
Right. So you have to understand that things are only going to, and I once asked you about this also, and you very succinctly and very bluntly put it, and which really helped me understand. And so I once asked you, I was very eager. I just got in GLC, so I asked you, ye 3 mahine mein what should I do? And you were like, देखो 3 महीने enjoy करो, ये वापस time नहीं आएगा. उसके बाद where law school will go, you will not understand. Then you will get a good job because you're a good kid. And then it's hell. so I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to get tougher. I know it's going to get tougher for a fact. So I can prepare myself and have fun and sort of, pick your own torture, but at the same time, understand it, love it, and sort of base yourself a little bit. One very practical tip I would give for MHCET is at least a month before the exam, stop with do a dopamine detox, because when you're reading through any competitive exam, it's very word heavy, so verbose. So your brain needs to uh, not die. Like it shouldn't prune.
Yeah.
It shouldn't sort of get disconnected. So that happens. I think personally, when I got off Instagram and social media, I saw that my brain was connecting more, and my brain had more energy, because it wasn't used to of that high levels of dopamine. Even a nice line by an author would excite me. So that kind of stuff helps in competitive exams. It's
Yeah.
sort of like one breakthrough I had that
Yeah.
really helped
Even
me.
मेरे को तो ऐसा भी लगता है कि it's too negative also. Social media has so much negativity that you end up falling prey to it, and then you feel like कि ठीक है, we're also a part of this and ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. Because I see people asking aspirants क्या करना चाहिए. तो एक aspirant बोल रहा है कि नहीं, मैंने भी मैथ्स नहीं किया है, तो like कि चलो मैं भी नहीं करता हूँ. And then question आते हैं तो both of them fail, and then they're like कि नहीं, किसी और की third person गलती है, CLAT मुश्किल था. Those things
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. So this year I went on Reddit. वही CLAT trapped me again, and I was like, चलो एक बार Reddit पे देखते हैं क्या हो रहा है.
हाँ
And then I opened Reddit, and everyone was like, we have to sue CLAT again. We have
हाँ
to
हाँ
sue
हाँ.
CLAT again. And I was like, oh yeah, I was like this last year also. And I mean, I understand where they're coming from very
Yeah, yeah.
honestly, but then this is not processing your emotions in that ideal way that would help them. But
True.
I would advise them that yes, be angry. Be angry. There is anger. It is a valid emotion. You are human, but acknowledge that you are human, that you are angry, and direct it towards, say, something productive, something. Uh, Read literature, read more things, and forgive CLAT for what it is. Forgive
Definitely.
yourself for not giving your best if you feel like you didn't, and see for what it is. See, CLAT is still, I believe, and this is very difficult for me to say, anyways, but I think CLAT still has a lot of legitimacy when it
Hmm.
comes to the kind of papers they have, even though they have their own
Yeah.
issues, but they still test you.
Correct.
I would obviously say that any competitive exam, there is a factor of luck and there is a factor of hard work. And the way I saw first time, I thought is it's only hard work. The person who works hard gets it. That didn't happen. So then I realized that hard work only increases the odds of you getting lucky, and then fortune favors the prepared. And so this is the understanding that only like a dropper will get. And I think
Yeah.
that has helped me even in college, that I sometimes lose competitions by a very small margin.
Hmm.
I in my first MUN, I just almost got the top three, and I lost, and I was dejected. But at the same time, I could process my
Hmm.
emotions because of such big failures behind me,
Right.
and having the efficacy of completing that. So while CET, a lot of people will tell you, Keshav sir and 12 Miss to CLAT and a lot of coaching institutes will tell you what to do on a practical basis, on which section to solve and which to not. I would only say that the thing that differentiates a CLAT aspirant in MHCET is logical reasoning, that is analytical reasoning, which is usually only CET does, but
Yeah.
this year CLAT also. So
Yeah.
analytical reasoning and maths. Keep these strong and keep the other ones consistent, and there is nobody, I think, who can stop you from getting
Correct.
your
Correct.
eye.
I think, yeah,
Yeah,
this is important.
yeah,
For those people also who do not wish to take a drop year and want to prepare for MHCET, तो कुछ लोगों को लगता है कि their boards are coming in the middle of the exam, मतलब exam preparation. So I think the best way is to start something, prepare for your board side by side. जब boards खत्म होते तो फिर उसको obviously थोड़ा सा और वो कर दो. But preparation cannot start after boards, but otherwise it
yeah.
gets slightly late.
Yes, just give 1 hour to yourself. Give 1 or 1.5 hour to
Yeah.
yourself. Just half an hour के लिए read something. Read anything. Read English. Read good English. Read something. If it doesn't connect with you, read something else. But read for half an hour, and
Yeah.
then 1 hour do analytical reasoning. Because if you do it on the end में pressure के वक्त, then it becomes like a very scary
True.
ordeal, because analytical reasoning has a steep learning curve. But
Mm-hmm.
once you get through that analytical reasoning, then you can do it in your sleep. I would genuinely dream about solving equations, questions
Right.
in analytical reasoning, and that happens because you have to
Right.
keep on practicing analytical reasoning again and again. It's very annoying that way, but
True.
it also has a very satisfying sort of effect when you get through it. And I've seen only two types of people who get almost full in analytical reasoning, barring one or two like really tricky questions,
Yeah.
or those who don't get anything at all.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And GK also is quite just swallow lucent and
Yeah. I mean, basics of current affairs has a source. Static GK has a source. Obviously, I think that makes sense. So, no, I was just saying it's pretty elaborative as a conversation, and I think students will take a lot from this conversation about obviously MHCET as an exam, the approach after CLAT, and obviously how GLC Mumbai looks particularly, which can be you could say dream destination for a lot of students, and it genuinely at par with so many NLUs, most of the NLUs, in fact, I would say. And thank you so for giving your time to 12 minutes to CLAT and for the
no.
students. So, for those who are watching this as well, if you guys have any doubts, please mention in the comments. Ishan and I will be very happy to take it and answer it for you, and you can genuinely clarify all of the confusions that you might have. So rather than going to random, you could say like Ishan also said कि मैं Reddit पर गया था. Reddit पे it's all like इधर उधर की बातें
Yeah.
और multiple
It's very
communities
bitter.
you will see कि इधर उधर की बातें हो रही. This is one you could say comment box is where which you can use judiciously, and you can genuinely post your doubts if you guys have anything. Ishan, anything that you would like to say at the end?
Just, I mean, it's a time of uncertainty. It's the time that will build your character. Just be grounded about it. If there is one thing that competitive exams have taught me, it is that not to get too happy after a mock, and not to because of a good score, and not to get too sad after a
Correct.
mock because of a low score. So CET, just just be grounded. Just give your best, and I'm sure
Right.
like you'll get through it. All
Thank
the
you so
best.
much, Ishan, for your time. Thank you so much, and it's really, really helpful and fruitful for the students.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.